If you've been following our adventure, by now you know we spent a lot of time in the water. When we decided we wanted to sell everything, quit our jobs, and travel, we chose traveling by water instead of by van or air because, well, since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a mermaid, and Gary wanted to see what makes up more than 3/4 of our planet, the ocean. There are many days we don't see much at all, but there are a few days that we see something spectacular. And those are the days that we keep swimming for. There are a couple moments that stand out above the rest, such as having humpback whales swim by us in St. Eustatius, dolphins schooling around Gary while checking the anchor in the Bahamas, swimming with turtles and the Tobago Cays, and the octopus that was creeping around on the St. Croix Pier. So, this brings us to where we are now, the San Blas Islands, where once again we witnessed something quite incredible. Like most days out here, we woke up and went for a swim. Gary was freediving, looking for dinner, and I was hanging closer to the shallows when all of a sudden I saw a cloud swimming toward us. A massive cloud. No, wait, a giant pod of baitfish. In fact, the biggest school of fish we've ever seen. This bait pod must have been the size of a football field. We've never seen anything quite like this. We watched the show for probably an hour. What was happening around us was absolutely fascinating. Underneath this school of bait were small schools of jacks and mackerel, all waiting for the perfect time to attack. And above, birds were flying, waiting to swoop down for a meal. The bigger fish were on the outside, pushing the bait pod toward the shallow reef. And what was lurking in the shallows? Yes, the real predator. Our planet is such a wild place, and we can't wait to see more of it. To make our day complete, we headed to the beach for sunset and then had a One Life favorite for dinner. This morning we were visited by the Congresso, which is basically the government commander, the authority of the Guna territory that we're in. And so we had to pay to anchor here, it was $20 for the boat and $20 per person. So we have our receipts for that. And we don't know how long it's good for, but we're thinking maybe a month, not really sure. And then right after that, we were visited by the veggie and fruit boat that comes around about once a week. And so we were able to refill on some eggs. We got a pineapple and then cabbage, potatoes, and onions. And it cost us $16 US. So not too bad. And fresh stuff is good to have and hard to come by out here. So anyway, pretty happy with how our morning's going so far. The veggie boat is a great way to support the local economy. This particular boat was very well stocked and even had beer and rum for sale. These guys definitely know who their market is. After putting our veggies away, we went for another swim. We didn't see anything spectacular. But that's okay. We were still reeling over yesterday's experience. The rest of the day, we chilled on the boat as we were hoping to sail to a new place the next day. Good morning. This morning we are thinking about sailing 16 miles east to the Ratones, but it rains all night and storms, so we're a bit tired and there is only about 3 knots of wind. So we're trying to figure out what we want to do. And it looks like it's gonna storm a little more. Yeah, it's not very welcoming out there right now. It looks a little stormy. But it's only 8 a.m. and if we get a little bit of wind, we should be able to do at least 4 knots and get there in 4 hours. So we have a little time to figure out what we're gonna do.
We've got to eat all those bananas before we can go.
We didn't eat the bananas, and the skyline was still cloudy with barely any wind, but we decided to go ahead and leave anyway.
So we've just left the anchorage at Pugadoop. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but we're only a couple miles out. We've got like 14 miles to go to our next anchorage. The wind is all over the place. We're doing our best trying to sail. We'll see how far we make it sailing. It's only 10:30 in the morning, so we've got all day to get there still. We've already rolled in and out the head sail 3 times, I think. There's some thunder, some squalls. It's overcast. Not the most sunny, beautiful day, but it's all right. We're moving.
Sails back in, motor back on. Since the engine was on, we had extra power to use, so I plugged in our blender and we got to work on eating those bananas. Chocolate banana smoothies for lunch. While I was taste testing our lunch, Gary was upstairs putting out the fishing lines. We were doing about 5 knots, which is decent trolling speed to catch mahi. Gary rigged the line with a daisy chain setup and then let the line back right behind our dinghy wake. We never did get any bites, but as we were getting close to our next anchorage, we were greeted by the Dolphin Welcoming Committee. This pod of Atlantic spotted dolphins hung out around the boat for about 30 minutes before they decided to swim away. There's just something about dolphins that make you feel good and brighten your day. As we approached the islands of the Ratones, it was time to bring down our mainsail and the fishing lines. We made our way slowly toward the islands while Gary kept an eye out for any coral heads. In our guidebook, it says the bottom here goes from 40 feet of sand to shallow reef very quickly. We ended up dropping our anchor in about 38 feet. And later on, look who came to visit us. I just had to jump in. They didn't stick around long, but this is just another moment I will remember forever.
So we bought a whole bunch of bananas from some Kuna men that came up in one of their dugout canoes about 4 days ago. And it was seriously like 50 bananas. It was only $4, so we just said okay and bought the whole bunch, but they're starting to rot. They are past ripe, so we're not gonna let them go to waste, so I'm gonna make some banana bread. And I thought I'd give you our banana bread recipe. Here we go. Step 1, 2 large bananas, or in this case, about a dozen small bananas. Step 2, 2 cups flour. Step 3, 1 cup of sugar. Eggs. The last 3 ingredients are butter or margarine, salt, and baking soda. And don't forget to sneak a taste of the batter. We are ready to go. Mix it all up and bake it. I like to coat the pans with a little bit of oil, and then I pour the batter in, put them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 40 minutes, and they're all done.
For me.
Dinner is served. It's a good looking loaf.
That's a good looking loaf. We are going to head over to Playon Chico, and it's a little village, just a 3-mile dinghy ride away. And we weren't sure if we were welcome there or not because of COVID. But yesterday we drove by the islands, and it seemed like the locals were very friendly and waving us over. Hola! So we're gonna go over and check it out. We figured we'd give it a try before we leave here.
We tied up at the public dock and immediately met a local lobster diver named Jav Rickerson. He helped sort out our tourist entry tax, then asked why we were visiting. We told him that we wanted to buy some food and see the village, and he was eager to take us around. In English, it's carrot.
Zanahoria. Ensalada.
Our Spanish is still lacking, but his enthusiasm more than made up for the language barrier.
Leche latita.
Leche. Sí.
A group of girls saw us and were excited to practice some English they had learned in school. They even wanted to pose for a quick picture with us.
1, 2, 3.
The smiles on the children's faces absolutely made our day. We didn't have much on us to give to them, but our One Life stickers were a huge hit. Jav Rickerson explained that there was a big party happening today, so we followed him across the village to check it out. We asked what was across the footbridge on the mainland, and before we knew it, we were headed across the bridge for a tour. Playon Chico is geographically located in the center of Guna, so there are a few government buildings located here. Our host showed us the school buildings and explained the lack of funding that is available to educate the children. The classrooms were very basic and did not have enough space for all of the island's children to attend school. Right next to the school is a small airport runway and a soccer field. Jav Rickerson explained that there are plans to build a foreign-funded 2-story hospital here on the mainland, and just how much that will improve their lives here. Well, we just got done visiting the town here. We got a bunch of groceries, and we got to see a little party going on. Just a little bit of a language barrier, but pretty cool to see the little party and the dancing and the music playing, and interesting little town. So we're gonna go back to One Life and set sail to head back west.
Ciao.
We are absolutely floored by the willingness of these total strangers to welcome us into their village and give us a glimpse into their lives. Why do we travel? For days like this that remind us what it really is to be human.
We just made it back to the boat from Playon Chico, and We got a whole bag of rolls,
How much was that bag of rolls?
$1. And they got a little salt spray on them coming back to the boat. And we're almost out of veggies. We were able to get all of these, and we had to run around to a couple different shops and houses and things, but I think we made out pretty well. Anyway, it was a super cool experience. It was awesome to see all the kids. They were so excited to see us. I think we were excited to see them, but they were really excited to see them, and we were able to give them stickers. So super cool experience. I'm glad we went over there, and they were super welcoming. All right, now we need to sail while we have wind. Peace out.